Hello, and welcome back to another episode of the Your Delusional podcast, hosted by myself, LaTerra, Wair. Well, welcome back. Today I look a little bit like a egg because I haven't washed my hair, so please forgive me. If you are one of my audio listeners, hello. If you're a Spotify listener and you are hearing this episode, that means that I did get the situations resolved. There's something going on with my Spotify, and I figured it out from the last episode that I was telling you guys about, but that's not what we're here to talk about. I hope that you guys had a great week. If you are part of the main chat, the main video girlies, you would know that I have bought a house. I got this message, and let me read it to you guys. I don't think the person that I got the message from will care that I'm sharing the message. So the person says, "You motivated me posting that you bought a house. It's been on my to-do list for the last 2 years. Yesterday, I sent my message to my realtor I had been talking to on and off for a while. Keep posting your good news. You are motivating more people than you know. Thank you. Thank you, beautiful, for the push. I've been scared to fail." Today, I kind of just wanted to come on here and talk to you guys and talk to you a little bit about that whole thing, because this is the exciting news that I was telling you guys that I wanted to tell you about. And this ties into the second to last episode where I was just talking about when delusion wins. So in the beginning of buying a house, I know that everyone has this long story about how they planned and this and this to buy a house, and truly I didn't. I'm going to be so for real with you. I had been saving money, but the money that I was saving was literally just money that came from a different source of income that I have or from my media stuff that I do. It's just my media money that I put into a bank account and I just don't touch. There's no reason why I don't touch or anything like that. That's just a rule that I made for myself because I knew that eventually I would want to use this money for something, or it's just usually the money that I go and get my tech equipment and stuff out of so I can keep receipts and stuff for taxes later. I didn't really do a lot of intentional saving for my house and all that kind of stuff. And I went through literally the same process and the steps that I went through 5 years ago. So if you are new here and this is your first time meeting me, seeing me, even if you're not new, when I said it in my video, I don't know if I've actually ever talked about when I was trying to buy a house 5 years ago. At the time, I was trying to purchase a home with a person who I'm not with anymore, and then it wasn't really going well, right? Anytime that I went to go look for something, it definitely wasn't going well, and that person also was not being super helpful. And at the time, a lot of stuff just wasn't really lining up, and it was very discouraging. And I think that that's one of the hardest things about looking for homes in the market, is that it can be very discouraging, especially if you're not finding anything and you're looking and you're looking and you're looking and all that kind of stuff. And so I just was like, you know what? I'm going to move into an apartment. I'm going to put a pause on this and everything is going to be fine. It's not like it's the end of the world because I can't buy a house when I'm 21. I think I was 20 turning 21. Currently I'm 25. And so all that kind of stuff was happening at that time. And it was just dang, but that gave me just exposure into the house market and everything like that. And the only tools that I used was literally the Google. If you go to Google and you type in your income, your debts, all this kind of stuff, it'll give you a rough estimate as to what you can afford, or how much that you're going to get pre-qualified for and everything like that for your home. So I did all that. I had all that information kind of ready when I went into the discussion with my lender. And then from that point on, we just kind of talked, and she was just hey, after this number, this was going to happen. In the middle of the process, my lender told me that because one source of income that I have, it hasn't been solidified for 2 years, or the 2-year time hasn't elapsed yet. And even though it's a contracted position, meaning that it's guaranteed for at least that 2-year mark, that part of the income can't be used. So then that was a bit of income that I was actually getting in that I'm not able to use in the whole qualification process of buying a home. For the girlies that know, that's a big thing. When it comes to your income that's coming in and stuff like that, you have to be able to prove that you are making the money that you're saying that you're making, along with your taxes and all that kind of stuff, just so that they can see that you can afford this house. That makes sense. So all that kind of stuff was happening, and I was I don't know, I'm scared. And it felt like everything literally was falling through again. But It wasn't. It literally was just kind of like, okay, so we're gonna have to like lower the price on what we're looking for and just go from there. But I say all that to say, 5 years ago when I was looking and it didn't work out, and then I was just very like kind of complacent with being in an apartment, and I was chilling and minding my business. And then I just kind of got this like, how you say, like I want to make sure that everyone in my life can be as comfortable as they possibly can. And if I can do anything to help make their lives more comfortable, I will try to do that within reason of what I can do. So at the time, the living situation where I was living specifically, I was just living at home. It wasn't like a bad living situation or anything. But with my just family, there were things that were happening or whatever, and people in my house needed more space type of situation. So I was like, okay, if I could leave and give more space to someone else who like needs it, then I can do that. And it makes me feel better being able to do that. Not necessarily for them, I guess, but for them. So that's something that I was like, okay. And that, I guess, like was sitting in the back of my head while I was going through this house search. And at first it just started with me putting homes on Zillow, like looking for homes on Zillow, this and that. And then I was legitly scrolling through Facebook Marketplace. And when I was looking for properties and homes and stuff like that, because originally I was only looking for townhouses. I thought that a townhouse was the only thing that was going to be within my price range, that wasn't going to break the bank, and that it's something that I could purchase and then eventually I could just rent out my home when I purchase an actual like family home, if I have a family. That was the route I was going down. And then the amount that I got pre-qualified for opened up a lot of different options. I ended up just scrolling, and when I was on Facebook, I was on Marketplace, I think looking for some random whatever that I did need to be spending money on that I was looking for, and I came across my realtor or an ad that she had posted. So I was like, okay, you guys know how sometimes you just like send requests to Facebook ads and stuff like that if you use Facebook, and it's literally, how you say, bot or a promotional message is what I'm trying to say. But no, my actual realtor, real life, like put out her Facebook ad, and then she reached back out to me. That was that. Like I only used her. 5 years ago, I used a completely different realtor. But this realtor, I used her. She is a Black woman. I love that. She's very educated, very smart. She's very sweet, very nice, very business oriented. And that's a great thing. She very much so like got me what I wanted, what I was looking for. She was very interested in what I was looking for. She brought me different property options in the area, and she set up a whole portal and everything like that for me. And she's a great lady. If you guys are looking for a realtor in the DFW area, I will definitely put her information in the bio. Please let her know I sent you, and I'm sure she will take care of you. But that's kind of how I fell along that path. And then from there, she was literally the one who was like, oh, I have this great lender I can send to you and all this. And I had a team. And from the team, we started looking at houses, and then we kept looking. And then there was this home, and we found it the very first day. It was the last house that we saw. It was probably like 7 minutes away from where I was currently staying. It was in the neighborhood that I grew up in. And it was beautiful. Everything about it was beautiful. They had this whole thing in the backyard, which was great because as a media person, it would have been wonderful for me to like set up studios and all this type of stuff, right? And I don't have to do all this crazy crap, whatever. With that home, we put offer in, and it just was falling through. And I was so sad. I was heartbroken. I manifested about it. I prayed about it. I sat there and I was just like, okay, but like in all of these things and in like manifesting and like talking to the universe and journaling and all this kind of stuff. Hold on, let me stop. I'm not I'm not on here to spread my spiritual beliefs or anything like that. And this will probably be one of the only times that I talk about this, but I'm just sharing this because I feel like in the interest of being transparent, I'm going to be transparent, right? So when I was like journaling and manifesting and all this type of stuff, I was sitting there and I literally remember writing down in my journal for like to be granted or to be brought a place or to not let anything go through that isn't supposed to go through, or to not let anything go through that is not going to be beneficial for me and what I'm trying to do. I was hoping that home was going to fall into that plan. That home did not fall into that plan. And as I kept kind of like looking at this house, it was just weird. And then when I found the current house that I'm in, it was a lot further out than I had originally anticipated for it to be. It was just very randomly popped up and everything like that. And the people who were selling the house, they had actually like listed the house on the market probably a while ago, and then something fell through, and then they came back, they dropped the price, I think 15K. And then so it like fell into my price range and all this kind of stuff. And I'm not saying all that to say that because I manifested and journaled and did all these things, that's why that happened. I do believe in the power and the law of attraction though, and like what you say and speak into your life will come to fruition. I do believe that. Like I always say though, with hard work. So I found this house and I was scared, y'all. I was really scared. I was scared that I wasn't going to get it. I was just like, dang, the same thing is going to happen that happened with the house before. And I'm going to be sad. And I'm going to be upset and all this kind of stuff. And that's just not what happened. You know, everything happened the way it was supposed to happen. Nothing fell through. And I didn't have to sit here and like worry for real. If anything, the parts that were kind of delayed were on my end, just because it was a lot of stuff that has to go back and forth, and then like agreements and contracts and disclosures and all this type of stuff that had to keep going back and forth between people. But it all came to fruition. When I was talking about being delusional in a couple episodes back, I legitly mean that. Like when I told y'all I wanted to tell you something and believing in myself, there were so many people along this journey, right, that I was trying to buy a house that weren't necessarily like negative about me purchasing a home, but like the comments weren't also like as positive, and everyone's like talking about the economy and talking about the climate and talking about like the money I make and this and this. And I'm just like, okay. When I said in that video that not everyone is going to say everything to be malicious, that is what I mean. I don't think that anyone in my life well, let me pause. I think some people was trying to be raggedy and whatever, and that's what that is, and I didn't care either way. But the people that were telling me things, I don't think that they were necessarily trying to be malicious and telling me. It's just one of those things that like, if you were looking around you and other things are happening in other people's lives as well that shape everyone's perspective. And for me personally, there was nothing happening in my life that told me that I couldn't achieve anything that I wanted to achieve if I worked for it. And so I said that this is something that I wanted to do, and it's what I did. I love that for me, right? I think that throughout this journey, it was very scary and it was very hard, because sometimes like believing in yourself is truly the most delusional thing that you can do. Believing in yourself is scary, but if you know what you want, then you should go after it. If you know what you want, then you should set plans in motion. You should put action behind these behaviors so that you can achieve anything that you would like to achieve. And that's how I ended up here. That's how I ended up purchasing a home at 25. And it's something that I'm super proud of. And it's something that like I was very scared to talk about, just because it's not that I didn't think that it was going to be received well, but I thought that like in a way, sometimes I never want to come off like bragging and everything like that, because everyone is at different points of their life. But yesterday, one of, if you guys follow the Learman twins, Anna Learman, she literally posted because someone, I guess, told her that her content is becoming unrealistic or whatever, or it's not relatable. And she literally said something super profound. and by saying that just because her content is or people feel like her content is becoming like unrelatable or it's unrealistic, it's because that's not the season of life that they are in, and that doesn't mean that that's not the season of life that she is in. That really helped me, because I'm not saying I'm at this crazy level or nothing like that, but also there are people around me who are just not necessarily doing the things that I'm doing in life, and sometimes it does feel hard to like want to relate to my friends, or it does feel hard wanting to relate to family and all this kind of stuff. And it's just like, I can't stunt my own growth or stunt myself because other people in my life do not want things at a pace that I want things. That's something that was like super kind of hard about this journey, I guess, is because I was talking to people, and a lot of people that I was talking to get advice, or I'm trying to just like vent about frustrations that I have and stuff like that. It's really hard when, let's say, like if I have a friend who's maybe like struggling to pay their rent because they're at a crappy job or something like that, and even though this may be one of my really good friends, it's kind of hard to vent to them about me waiting 4 or 5 days to see what the lender is going to say about me purchasing a house. Because in perspective, I'm talking about doing something like purchasing a home, and my friend is literally talking about like struggling to pay their rent because their job isn't fulfilling them or isn't like paying them a great amount. And if you know me personally, if we've ever talked, had friend conversation, anything like that, I never want to be that person who like, I will always humble myself, and I will always like minimize something or try to be relatable. Like if I'm ever giving someone advice, even if I haven't been through a situation like that, I will say that I've been through something like that, so that person doesn't have to feel bad or like they're going through it by themselves, or like I'm trying to attack them, because it's easier to relate to people and to help them solve their problems than to just tell them that they're doing everything wrong and it sounds like you're judging them. Coming into this type of situation, that was something that was very hard for me to navigate, I think. And now it's not hard to navigate. Now I'm very happy. I'm very proud of myself. I'm very living in this moment of my life and living in answered dreams. And it makes me think about being little and about how every night, guys, I'm always watching House Hunters, always watching these like home designer shows and all this kind of stuff. And I feel like it was to prepare for this moment, prepare for this journey and this time in my life, because this is something that I wanted. And in a lot of ways, when I think about this home, it's just something that I really did want. And I'm really proud of me. You know, I don't necessarily, like, I'm always very proud of me, right? I'm not a cocky, boasting person necessarily, but I am very proud of myself. There were so many days. There were so many days that I literally, and people can vouch for me saying this, I was like, if this doesn't go right, if this one step doesn't go right, I'm just gonna like stay at home for the next year and just wait for the next time and the right time then and all this type of stuff. And if I would have done that, I never would have gotten this house, because this house probably would have been gone by then, which would have been very sad, but I would have ended up somewhere different, and that could have been a fun adventure as well. I was very discouraged, and I'm very proud of like my resilience in this process. None of it was per se easy, but it did feel easy because I knew what I wanted and I knew what the goal was at the end of the day. So yeah, I really wanted to come on here this episode though and just like talk about, from that message, it means a lot. Everyone has been so nice and so warm, welcoming, so congratulatory. Like everyone has been so incredibly, beautifully supportive of my home buying. And I want to say thank you guys. Thank you guys on the pod as well. Everyone who listens and watches, who's congratulated me. I appreciate it. For the first couple months, it didn't really feel real, I guess. Like it just felt like I wasn't living in my space. It felt like I was just like living in like a little rented space or something like that. And then I paid my first mortgage and it still didn't feel real. I don't know. And I paid my mortgage again, and it still didn't feel real. And it still kind of just feels crazy in a way, in the best and in the worst ways. But I think that it'll start to feel a little bit more non-surreal if like the longer everything happens and stuff. And you know, with being here, there have been problems and tribulations and all that kind of stuff, but that's just what comes along, you know, with the territory, and that's okay. For the person who sent me the message and everything, I want to say that thank you so much for telling me that I inspire you, and thank you so much for watching and giving me those positive like affirmations and stuff like that, because that does mean a lot. And I don't do this necessarily like to inspire people or anything like that, but I do want to be able to like showcase my life, because I want to look back on my life and like see the things that I've accomplished. And I think that if me getting to do that and getting to share that also inspires people and makes them believe that they can do anything that they want to do as well, like I love that, right? And I think that there's no downside to that. And I truly do think, guys, if you want to purchase a home, if you want to do things, there are things you may have to fix, right, along the way. There are things I had to fix before I started doing this process. And but you can do it. The hardest part about doing anything is literally starting. And if you start it, you can finish it, you can succeed, and you can do anything that you were trying to do. This process, some may think, feels impossible, and to me as well, it felt impossible at a point. It's very possible, and it's very, very realistic, and it's something that anyone can do. You have to take a sense of pride in your life, and you have to take a sense of pride in what you're doing, and you have to believe that I am so proud of myself, and I want to be proud of myself, and I want to push for all these accomplishments that I want to get done, and you can do them. There is nothing that is too big of a task. And maybe if it is too big of a task, you can outsource. You have resources. You can ask people, Google. If you can't ask a person, you have ChatGPT, you have Google. There's never a reason to not achieve the dreams that you want to achieve. I truly do believe that. You have to take pride in your life, and you have to take pride in the life that you do want to have, and feel like you do deserve it, and be delusional and feel like that sometimes until it happens. And me purchasing a home is it's literally what this whole thing is about, right? For me, it's literally me being so delusional to the point where I didn't listen to anyone, and I went after my dreams. And despite all the negative things everyone was like saying, at times I heard them and I didn't listen. So that's kind of my advice. Sometimes you have to hear people and just not listen to the outside voices, so that you can concentrate and so that you can win. I just want to say that to the person who wrote that message in. Thank you. And I hope that you get that house. I hope that you achieve amazing things, and everything that you're manifesting and all this stuff for yourself, I hope that it comes to fruition. And it's just amazing and great. Yeah, but you know, I think in reality, I feel like I'm rambling on and on and on, because there's like a lot of thoughts going through my head in this very moment. But what I'm basically trying to say is, you guys know that quote that says, the future belongs to those who believe in the today. You know, you got to believe in yourself. And buying this home has really been something that taught me that. And I hope that me displaying that and sharing that part of my life to the world does like help other people, and help you guys know that you can do things that you want to do too. If you're trying to get that up. I talked to someone the other day who came over to my house, and they were like, oh, is this your house? And I was like, yeah. And then they were like asking me stuff, and they were like, you bought your house like by yourself and this? And I was like, yeah, dude. And they were like, dude, I can't even get an apartment, like the economy and this is, and I'm like, you can do it. Like, you literally can do it. You have to stop telling yourself that you can't, because you can literally do anything that you put your mind to. And including this, it might take some time. It might take you saving, readjusting, all that type of stuff, but it can happen. Just never think that you can't, and just be be real diligent, right? And I posted this thing on my my Finsta, and it was just like, I'm really glad that I never played about me. And no, it's for real though. Like you can't play about yourself. You have to be on your business, be about your business. And if it's not for other people, it has to be for yourself at the end of the day, because you're the only one who has to look out for you for real. Like, life is not necessarily a singular experience all the time, but life is very singular, and it is everyone's responsibility to care for themselves, right? If you can care for yourself and you're capable to, no one can love you more than you can love you. So you should love yourself. You should show up for yourself. You should tell yourself that you can do anything, and talk nicely to yourself, talk positively to yourself, and put your mind to achieving your goals, because it's your life. And when the clock stops and we go into wherever is next in oblivion and whatever, like, you want to be able to tell yourself that you went hard the whole time and you didn't play about yourself. Because how disappointing would it be? This is a mindset that I have that keeps me going in a lot of things. I think how disappointed I would be if I got to be 99 and I could never say that I did anything I wanted to do in my life, because I was scared, because there was X, Y, and Z that's like always in my way. And that's really crazy. Don't disappoint yourself. Keep pushing, keep striving, keep going. Let us get into the You're Delusional topic. To be honest, I'm going to go with the theme of the episode and tell you guys what someone told me. They said that it's crazy that you were trying to buy a house in this market, in this economy at your age. And I think that is delusional. In truth, I think that's completely delusional. I'm 25. I know of people who have bought homes at 21, at 20, at 22, at any age in this current economy, in a worse economy, and you can do it too. I truly believe that. I think that homeowning is something great if you want to be a homeowner. Homeowning is not for everyone. Not everyone wants to own a property. Not everyone wants to be attached to everything. For a long time, I was someone who, I love moving personally. I know everyone does not like the moving, but I do love moving. So apartments and getting to have new spaces and everything was always like it for me. I thought that was super cool to get to redo your space, get new layouts and all this type of stuff. But I also love my home, and I love having a stable place, a place that I can call my own and say that I'm a property owner, and that's something that's super major to cross off my bucket list. And if that is something that you want to do as well, and you were a young adult, if you're an older person, whatever, you can own a property if you save up the money for it, if you find the assistance to help you with it and all that kind of stuff. So I don't think it's delusional at all. Yeah, but let me know what you guys think. I want to be more interactive with you guys and just kind of like talking about what you guys feel or want to know about. So just let me know in the comments if you guys have any of these like your delusional topics or anything like that, and just drop them below so I can chat with y'all and figure that out. And also you can DM me on my personal Instagram at the LaTerra Wair. Just let me know that you're talking about your delusional topic or a what we watching topic or whatever. And also you can DM the production company at LT Legacy Productions, and then same situation for the What We Watchin'. So What We Watchin' is a segment where me as a movieer, as a TV watcher, whatever, I just be sitting here yapping to you guys, letting you know what I'm watching and what's kind of going on, whatever. Currently, I am going back in time and I am rewatching The Flash. The CW, I've come to realize I love a CW show. I think I talked about that, but I love a CW show. I don't really like superheroes necessarily. I've always been more of I like super villains type of girly, just because I don't get superhero lore a lot of the time, I guess. But so I've been watching The Flash that has, it's not The Flash with Ezra Miller in it. Okay, so yeah, his name is Grant. It has Grant Gustin or Guston. I think it's Gustin in it. So in The Flash, it's literally a show about The Flash and about, I guess, how he was created, or in the CW. I didn't understand a whole thing with comic books and how comic books keep getting picked up and created by different people, and so the stories keep going on and this and this. But yeah, I still have to say, don't drag me if I don't get these stories and details right and stuff like that. But I am watching the show for the second time around now. And I just started season 1 again. I'm on episode, I think 4. I love this show. Let me tell y'all something that's so crazy, and maybe y'all resonate with this. Do y'all, if you've ever seen The Flash, tell me if you like the way that Harrison Wells is the villain like every other season. I don't know what it is about that, but I love at the end when it pop out that Harrison Wells is the villain. I'd be like, oh, no. Like on the first season, they tell you off bat, like off jump at the end of the first episode, Harrison Wells literally is the villain of this whole story. But I think that every other season, the way he just comes out to be a Flash that ran back from like however long or from whenever or what time or what Earth or whatever, like I think it's so cunty. I don't know, like it's really for me. I don't know how to explain that, but I'm watching The Flash. It's literally about the comic book character The Flash and his journeys with his friends and all this type of stuff and them going through stuff. And I think it's just a really cool show. I really like an emotion heavy drama show, and this is exactly what that is. Like for sure, some of the issues and stuff that they be going through, it's just kind of like, okay, whatever. But that's my tea for real. Like I really, really, really like that show. So if you've never seen it, I totally recommend it. If you guys have any show recommendations, also please drop them down below. I'm about to go on a summer binge. I have 2 more weeks left in school, and then I'm out for 8 weeks, and then I start up again probably, what is that, like fall time? But I'm out for 8 weeks. So I'm going to enjoy the ending half of my summer and rot and watch TV and do the things that I like to do. So if y'all have any show recommendations, please drop them below. Let me know, and let me know what you guys are watching. Thank you guys so much for joining me on another episode of the You're Delusional podcast. Thank you guys so much for all the love that you've been showing the podcast, whether it be the video version or the audio version. It means so much. I appreciate it so much. And thank y'all for allowing me to like have the space and have the platform to express myself and to express to you guys like what I want to achieve, what I have achieved, and being gracious and just being so uplifting. I know the internet can be a very hard place sometimes, and it's been hard for me sometimes. I definitely have been in these little spats with people because of just like rude, negative comments, and I really feel like keep that to yourself. But this has been really great. So thank y'all so much for that. Thank you guys so much for watching. Please be sure to rate the podcast if you are one of our audio listeners on Apple Podcasts or on Spotify. And if you are a video watcher, please be sure to subscribe, like, and comment below on some of the topics that we are talking about. I would love to hear from you guys. Also, if you want to stay up to date with real-time updates about the podcast, be sure to either follow me at the LaTerra Wair or our production company at LT Legacy Productions, and you will get updates just about the podcast or about things that are happening with it, questions that we may have or anything like that. If you have some specific topics that you want to talk about, woman or male topics, we can get some woman or male guests on here to yap with us. Thank y'all so much for listening, and I will see you guys next week. Bye. The Your Delusional podcast, streaming on Apple, Spotify, and YouTube, is produced by LT Legacy Productions and hosted by LaTerra Wair.